Welcome to my UFC 325 fight predictions. Now, this card is not as good as obviously UFC 324. That card was pretty good, stacked. Each matchup was really good. I did pretty good on that card as well. I got 10 fights out of 11 right, especially that Justin Gaethje versus Paddy Pimblett pick. I got it to a T. I got Justin by decision, so I did really good on the card overall, especially for the outcomes. But we are now at Volkanovski versus Lopes 2, the rematch. This card is not as good as I said, but still pretty decent. A lot of Australian fights. We got road to UFC finales as well on this card, and it's a okay fight. I mean, it's an okay card. Some decent matchups, some names we like: Tuivasa, Benoit, Hooker. There's some decent matchups, but overall, it's an okay card. And we got someone here, a terrorist to the sport, but aside from that, it's a decent card. And I did no film study, by the way. I did zero film study. I'm gonna be honest, this is all from memory. So I'm gonna test my memory to see how good I do without film study. Because of the last card I did a lot of film study, and I did really good. And I want to see how good I do without film study. So let's start with the very first fight of the card at the early prelims. The first fight of the road to UFC. The first four divisions, flyweight to lightweight, of course. But the first one, flyweight, we got Aaron Tao versus Namsrai Batbayar. And if you do not remember this Aaron Tao guy, he made his debut in the Contender Series 2 years ago. He fought Elijah Smith, and he lost that fight. Because the thing about Aaron Tao is he has insane power. He has a really good chin, but that's all he has. He's a brawler, and I mean, I want to say he's a good offensive grappler. But that's all he has. He trains out of the CKB gym, where Izzy trains out of, Olberg, Elgerman Sterling. But he's not a strike. Like, he's not like a technical striker like that for some reason. I don't know where. Like, if he's just like training with someone else or something like that, but he just does not have that that technique down. And so that's something he struggles in. And that's why he lost the Elijah Smith fight, because Elijah Smith was just like the more technical fighter. He was landing the straighter shots, straight shots, beat looping shots, and he just lost the first two rounds. Elijah Smith in that third round, gassed, and obviously Aaron Tao was able to, put the pressure on him, but he still lost by decision. Namzai Batbayar, on the other hand, is a really good technical striker, really good clean shots. He kind of has like that Manel Cape type of style where he like has like the switch stance, low hands type of style, which obviously is kind of dangerous when you're up against someone like Aaron Tao who has power. But Namzai Batbayar is really good. Like, he's really good. And he has a lot of potential in the UFC. A lot of he can really grow, like, to be a really like high level fighter in the UFC. He's kind of young. Aaron Tao right now is his prime in age, but for Aaron Tao to be like still not like up here in this level, still like making his UFC debut, I'm gonna go with Namzai Batbayar. I feel like he can learn from the Elijah Smith fight, like study from it, and see the openings of Aaron Tao, because I don't think Aaron Tao has evolved a lot since the last fight. I do think he's like, it's just the same fighter as always. Just like, what's it called? What's the word? Just like relying on his power. Oh my god, it took me forever to come up with that. Relying on his power, and I feel like not bad, but I can do a really good job. Like just staying away from the power circling, and just sticking to the jabs, and like just the straight shots, and winning to decision. I do think Batbayar is a pretty smart fighter, and he can do a pretty good job beating Aaron Tao. So I'm gonna go with Batbayar winning, because I do think highly of him. But yeah, that's what I got. I got him by decision. Next up, we got Sulangrangbo versus Lawrence Lau. Anyways, this fight it's a decent fight. It's not as good as the Aaron Tao versus Batbayar, but this is a decent fight. They're both okay. But I don't know. I feel like Sulangrangbo is slightly better. Like, they're both okay fighters. They're both like decently well rounded. I'm gonna go with Sulangrangbo because I do think he's slightly better, slightly more faster, slightly better footwork, slightly better striking. I'm gonna go with Sulangrangbo. From what I remember, I do think I'm gonna go with him by decision. I don't think they're gonna finish each other. They're both like kind of technical, but they just don't have like that it factor. So, but I'm gonna go with Sulangrangbo. I think he's like slightly better. So yeah, decision win. Next up, bro. Next up, we got. Oh, come on! Look, I'm scrolling up and look. The UFC Fix your fucking website. But anyways, Kichiro Nakamura versus Sebastian Szalay. Szalay? Anyways, we got Japanese Conor McGregor. This dude is like another Mauricio Ruffy type of archetype where they're just trying to be Conor McGregor in the octagon. And he does a pretty good job at it because his KOs are nasty and clean. Look at his KOs on YouTube. He has some amazing KOs. But yeah, he has the southpaw karate stance. This Kichiro Nakamura guy, and he does a pretty good job. What's it called? Emulating McGregor. Not as good, obviously. Not as I won't even say not as good as Mauricio Ruffy, but he does still do a pretty good job emulating. He's a long, tall fighter. Accurate power, speed. He's really good. I'm actually excited for this guy in the UFC. Sebastian Salazar, he's also pretty good as well. He's like a high output, aggressive fighter. He is very technical as well, but I would say he kind of like slows down a lot in the second and the third, and that's where Kichiro Nakamura can actually, do a good job just beating the shit out of someone like Sebastian. Like I said, Sebastian's pretty good, but Kichiro Nakamura, I'm excited for this guy. Each time he fights, he's really good. I think he could probably win this fight, and I'm gonna go with Nakamura. He's really exciting. I'm gonna go with Japanese McGregor winning it by second round KO. I can feel like he can do a good job finishing Sebastian, someone who's a high output but does leave himself open from time to time. So I'm gonna go with Nakamura. We got Sang-Woo Kim versus Dom Marfan. They're both grapplers. They're both oppressive grapplers, really good grapplers. But the thing is, Sang-Woo Kim comes out of that one Korean gym where the Korean Tyson trains out of, the KO guy, the guy who's out-grappled Oban Elliott and out-grappled Phil Rowe. Two guys that are pretty good grapplers themselves. Sang-Woo Kim is he trains with that guy, and for that reason, I'm gonna go with Sang-Woo Kim. There's not much to like really gauge out of these two guys, but for that specific fact, I'm gonna go with Sang-Woo Kim because that KO guy is really good, and to be grappling and training with someone like him who is a really good oppressive grappler, I'm gonna go with Sang-Woo Kim. I feel like Sang-Woo Kim could do a good job, out grappling the Omar Fan. Maybe this is a fight where the both grappling cancels out and they strike, and that I'm not sure who's better. I'm gonna go with Damar Farm. They're only gonna strike, but in the grappling, I'm gonna favor Sang-Woo Kim, and that's what I think is gonna win. I'm gonna go with Sang-Woo Kim, decision win, out grappling, and maybe gets a submission in the third or something like that. But I'm gonna go with Sang-Woo Kim winning this fight. Last fight of the early prelims, we got Khan Ofli versus Yizha. Two guys are doing not that good in the UFC, but they're okay. Khan Ofli, I don't remember he won his last fight. Who did he? Well, last fight, I don't remember. Not remember. But he lost against Muhammad Naimov and that Marion Santos guy. And he didn't do that bad in the Muhammad Naimov, but he was getting shook a lot in that fight. But he still didn't do that bad. Didn't get finished. Yizha, on the other hand, he's like 1-1 in the UFC, I think. And lost his first fight. Something like that. I don't remember what his record is in the UFC. But anyways, he won his last fight against that Wilson guy. And that Wilson guy gets KO'd a lot in the UFC. So that win is not something I'm too what's it called, impressed by, because that guy gets KO'd by everybody, and for Yizha to KO a guy that got KO'd like 5 times already in the UFC is not impressive. Not something I think highly of. But I'm still gonna go with Yizha because stylistically, Khan Ofli is a bit of a brawler. He kind of like leaves his chin up in the air when he like strikes, and that's how Muhammad Naimov was able to outstroke him. That's how Mario Santos was able to KO him, because Khan Ofli does leave himself defensively unsafe in situations where his chin is just right there too for the taking. And Yizha does have power, lands clean straight shots, and that's something where Yizha can to take advantage of. Now in the grappling, both of these guys are kind of okay. I'm not sure Khan Ofli is a better grappler than Yizha. If not, I'll grapple him and take his back and submit him, something like that. I don't think he has like top control submissions. I don't think so, but I'm gonna go with Yizha. I feel like he does a pretty good job. He will do a pretty good job defending Khan Ofli's takedowns, and I'll strike him in the feet, if not chin him. I got Yizha. He's pretty good. He has some potential, and yeah, that's what I think is gonna win by second round KO. First fight of the prelims, we got Jonathan Micallef versus Oban Elliott, someone who I mentioned earlier. Jonathan Micallef is really good. I think he has good potential. Good kickboxer. He has long, rangy, good technique. I feel like he can do a good job defending Oban Elliott's takedowns. Oban Elliott's a pretty good grappler himself, but I'm not sure if he's good enough to be able to take down Jonathan Micallef, someone who's like much longer. And Oban Elliott is not like a takedown artist on open mat. He's like the average MMA fighter where they just push you up against the cage and try to get a takedown like that. But the thing is, I feel like Jonathan Micallef could do a pretty good job defending against Oban Elliott up against the cage, especially with that long, lanky physique. And I'm gonna go with Oban. I'm gonna go with Jonathan Micallef. I feel like he can defend the takedowns and definitely outstrike Oban Elliott on the feet. Go to a decision win. I don't think he's gonna chin Oban Elliott. I don't think so. But I'm gonna go with Jonathan Micallef. Getting it done by decision. Next up, we got Jacob Malkoun versus Taurus Finney. Jacob Malkoun, if you did not remember, he lost that Petrovsky guy, the Andre Petrovsky. That guy is a good grappler, oppressive grappler, and Jacob Malkoun chinned him. Now, could Diego Lopes chin Taurus Finney? I do not know. Taurus Finney does not have a neck, so it's kind of hard to chin a dude without a neck. There's not that like what's it called, that momentum to build up from the head. When you don't have a neck, it's just like this. So it's kind of hard to chin a guy like that. Kind of like the DC archetype, where DC rarely got chinned. Has he ever been chinned? I think he only been chinned by like body shots. So he got body shots, not chinned. By a Stipe. But anyways, our Taurus Finney. I feel like Taurus Finney is probably gonna give us another boring fight. Jacob Malkoun just chinned another grappler, but I don't think he could chin Taurus Finney. I don't think so. I think Taurus Finney is like oppressive. As much as boring he is, he's actually a pretty good grappler. And I think he's gonna do the same shit he did last time. Just out grapple Jacob Malkoun to the ground, land some elbows. Hopefully he mixes in the martial arts, just the grappling martial arts. I want him. Hopefully he doesn't have to just rely on the grappling. Maybe he gets a takedown and lands some elbows and punches on the ground, and not just rely on wrestling, because this is boring as fuck. You're saying just watching his fights. We need some damage at least, please. Like we're not asking of you doing like kickboxing or anything, or boxing or nothing like that. Muay Thai. Just if you're gonna take these guys down or push them up against the cage, hopefully you take them down and hopefully you land some elbows and punches, because this dude was, I don't remember, he like didn't get signed because he had a boring fight. He finally got re-signed in the Contender Series, and I mean he got a boring fight in the Contender Series, didn't get signed, fought again, got signed in the Contender Series too. But come on, you gotta give us a good fight, and I think he's gonna win this fight. Jacob Malkoun, I'm not sure how good he is in terms of finishing someone like Taurus Finney, but I do think Taurus Finney, in the grappling of welterweight, I mean at middleweight, he could expose a couple guys here and there. So I'm gonna go with Taurus Finney by decision, of course. Next up we got middleweight bout, Cam Rowston versus Cody Brundage. Cam Rowston, this dude is good. This dude is another CKB fighter, and he is a kickboxer, a really good kickboxer. He's really good. He's like the next coming of Izzy at middleweight, I guess you can say. He's good. Cody Brundage, not good. We know how bad Cody Brundage is. This matchup is kind of just basically a layup win for Cam Rowston, just to get another win in the UFC and maybe fight for a ranking soon. But this dude is good. I like him. Had a crazy KO in his last fight. I'm gonna go Cam Rowston. Hopefully he gets it done by first round KO. I like him. He's pretty good. What? Next up, at light heavyweight, we got Junior Tafa. Something about this website just sucks. But anyways, Junior Tafa versus Billy Elekana. This is a decent fight. Junior Tafa is... This is the thing. Junior Tafa was fighting at heavyweight. It was doing bad at heavyweight. Light heavyweight basically is skilled heavyweight. That's basically what it really is. Skilled light heavyweight with athletes. As in, they're in shape. Junior Tafa is not in shape. And he's not even as skilled as a heavyweight. So, and Billy Elekana, the other thing about Billy Elekana, he's not really like a physical specimen. He relies on his skill. And he has skill. He almost subbed the Bogdan. Did good against what's his name, Ibo Aslan, and got a KO in his last fight. But but that was pure skill, not even just power or anything like that. That was pure skill. He's gonna outskill a unskilled heavyweight easily, and there's that light heavyweight. There's not really kind of fighting at heavyweight where Junior Tafa could have a weight advantage. There's that light heavyweight, and Billy Elekana is gonna be weight cutting more than Junior Tafa as well, because Junior Tafa, his weight cuts are not like, you know, water. It's more like weight, like fats and water. But Billy Elekana is gonna be mostly doing weight cuts out of just straight water and then bulking back up, you know, rehydrating more than Junior Tafa. I got Billy Elekana. Junior Tafa, you know, the Tafa bros are likable, but you know, that doesn't mean that much while you're fighting in the octagon. I'm gonna go with Billy Elekana winning this fight. Probably submission. I wouldn't be surprised if he subs him in the first round. But yeah, I'm gonna go with Billy Elekana. He's a good fighter. And yeah, that's what I got next. First fight of the main card. We got, I'm clicking. Anyways, we got Quillen Sakilld versus Jamie Mullarkey. Quillen Sakilld, he's good. A lot of people were picking Nazareth Hack Press against Quillen Sakilld. I was saying Quillen Sakilld is really good. A lot of people were saying, oh, but he's not that good. He got an amazing KO over Nazareth Hack Press and the head quick, and now he's overrated. But the thing is, he's still really good. He's still really good. Jamie Mullarkey is not good. Quillen Sakilld is going to be Jamie Mullarkey. I don't know what is going on. Do I have to like click this and then click that? Nope. Still not opening. But anyways, heavyweight bout, Tuivasa versus Teixeira. I'm gonna go with Tuivasa. I don't care. Teixeira this is a heavyweight bout, but as in anything could happen. 50-50, you know, Tuivasa, good boxer. Teixeira is just a fighter, I guess. He doesn't really have like technique as well. But Tuivasa is slightly more skilled. He's on a huge losing streak, but I do feel like he could get this done. Taking a lot of damage. Teixeira could chin Tuivasa. But Tuivasa is really good. Almost finished Cyril Gane. Finished Derek Lewis. I'm going with Tuivasa. I feel like he could win this fight. Not MMA math. I wasn't referring to Derek Lewis as in Derek Lewis beat Teixeira and Tuivasa beat Derek Lewis. And, you know, I'm just saying he has some good wins. Teixeira hasn't really proven shit really in the UFC yet. I'm going with Tuivasa. He's really good. And I like him. I got him first round finish. Tuivasa. Rafael Fiziev versus Mauricio Ruffy. Obviously a lightweight. This one's a banger. I love this fight right here. This is a good matchup between two strikers. Rafael Fiziev has grappling of his own. But I want to say it's as good as BSD's grappling. And I would probably say Mauricio Ruffy has evolved his grappling since that BSD fight, loss. And so I'm going to say there's going to be, I feel like Mauricio Ruffy is going to do a good job defending the takedowns from Rafael Fiziev. Pretty good, especially because Mauricio Ruffy is pretty big at lightweight as well. Like, he's big. And Fiziev is pretty small at lightweight. He's like a mix between a featherweight and lightweight. I don't think he's going to be doing the same thing Benoit was doing against Ruffy at all. I do not think so. And Mauricio Ruffy is a better striker than, what's his name? Justin Gaethje. I literally forgot his name. But anyways, he's a better striker than Justin Gaethje. I don't know how Rafael Fiziev can, you know, cross the distance, not get hit, and go for a takedown. I feel like each time Rafael Fiziev is gonna go for the takedowns, it's gonna be too far away, or he's getting hit. It's like in that between. He's like, it's too far away where Mauricio Ruffy can defend the takedowns, or when he gets in range for those single legs or double legs or whatever, he's gonna get hit. And so I'm gonna go with Mauricio Ruffy. I feel like he's gonna evolve a lot since his last fight, and to give us a good performance against Rafael Fiziev. Stylistically, this is perfect for Ruffy. Much bigger, better striker. Could have evolved his takedown defense, his anti-grappling in general, and to get back on the feet. I'm going to go with Mauricio Ruffy. I still think he's going to win this fight against Rafael Fiziev. Rafael Fiziev is really good. I like him, but it sucks that I do think he's going to lose this fight. And yeah. I'm going to go with Mauricio Ruffy. Second round KO. I don't think he's going to get it done in the first round because I feel like Rafael Fiziev is going to be a little bit tricky to deal with in the first round with that grappling and the striking. But I feel like in the second round, Mauricio Ruffy is going to be able to adapt well into the second round and get the KO. So, yeah. Co-main, we got Dan Hooker versus Benoit Saint-Denis. This is a banger. Is this 5-rounder? I do not know. I haven't checked. But there's a co-main. non-title fight. Dan Hooker versus Benoit Saint-Denis. Quick turnaround for Dan Hooker, by the way. Quick turnaround. Interesting, but yeah. Dan Hooker, he is a dog. He is crazy in the head. I would not like to mess with this guy at all in any situation in the octagon or in the street or whatever. But he is crazy, but crazy does not mean skill. And Benoit Saint-Denis is skilled. He is a really good grappler. I would probably say he's just as good as Arman, by the way. If not, like just as good as Islam in the grappling. I do think his grappling is like legit really good. It's just that one. I said this plenty of times already on this YouTube channel. I do think if he didn't strike with Poirier, he would have won that fight. And that what's it called, the Mokaino fight was just like was a fluke. I do not believe in flukes, but there's a fluke in the UFC. It's gonna be that fight right there. That's like the biggest example of a fluke, because even then Benoit Saint-Denis was beating the shit out of Mokaino in the second round with his eyebrow cut. He was still doing really good with that cut, and then the corner stop, the doctor stopped the fight, and we didn't get to see the end of it. But yeah, I'm gonna go with Benoit. He's really good. Gonna be Dan Hooker. Sub him in the first round. That's what I got. First round submission for Benoit. And Dan Hooker is not a good anti-grappler. He gets taken down easily a lot in his fight. So there's that. But I'm going with Benoit. First round submission. Last fight of the card, the main card, Alexander Volkanovski versus Diego Lopes, the rematch. We already seen this fight. We already saw how it happened. Diego Lopes did land some good shots on Alexander Volkanovski, but Alexander Volkanovski was doing a really good job keeping Diego Lopes at range and just keeping and outstriking him, even being the much smaller fighter. Do you know how hard that is to be being the much smaller fighter and keeping your opponent at range? He was doing a really good job doing that and did it for 5 rounds. And Diego Lopes couldn't do it. He did land a couple few shots that did drop Volkanovski. I think he only dropped them once, or did rock Volkanovski a couple times. Alexander Volkanovski is really good. In his prime, really freaking good. One of the most skilled fighters to ever exist. It's just right now, he's much older now. There's a slightly, it's not been exactly over a year, but it's like almost a year, you would say. So almost a year older Volkanovski versus a much more in his prime Diego Lopes. Diego Lopes has been active as well. He beat John Silva. And we saw how good John Silva did against Arnold Allen. I feel like Diego Lopes is probably gonna win this fight, win the rematch on the scorecards. I do not think he's gonna chin Volkanovski at all. But do you think Diego Lopes is gonna be a good job adapting, being smarter, being quicker? He's gonna be much more what's the word? Determined to win, to get back in there, be Volkanovski. This fight is stupid in my opinion. It should not be Diego Lopes. It should be someone else. And this rematch, hopefully Diego Lopes wins in the terms of, if Diego Lopes loses to Volkanovski twice in a row, or not in a row, but just twice, his stock goes completely down the drain. His stock, because this is a guy losing twice to an old vet, like, and as the champ, and like it's like, oh, you didn't beat the guy that you lost to, who you should have beaten the first time, because there are a lot of people were picking Diego Lopes to beat Volkanovski in the first fight. This should be like a wake up call for Diego Lopes to be like, get your shit together and beat VOLK in a rematch. I like VOLK. I would low-key want VOLK to win this fight just to see VOLK versus Laurent versus Evloev versus Aljamain Sterling. See VOLK in these matchups. But the UFC did this to us, and I'm gonna go with Diego Lopes winning the rematch by decision. I do think the judges are gonna be a little bit partial towards Diego Lopes as well, just to have a new champ, and that's what the UFC wants. Because obviously they didn't do this rematch out of nowhere. They obviously did it for Diego Lopes to win the belt, and so that's what I got. I got Diego Lopes winning by a split decision robbery, if not like that. Like that's how I think it's gonna go down. But yeah, I'm gonna go with Diego Lopes winning the belt against Volkanovski. Volkanovski retiring most likely. He's not gonna be fighting as a non-champion or a non-title fight. And so I'm gonna go with Diego Lopes winning this. Sadly, Volkanovski is gonna lose this one. I do think so. Diego Lopes did have some really good moments against Volkanovski, and he could adapt for sure, especially because he's still kind of young. I mean, he could still change up some things here and there, but Volkanovski, it's kind of hard to teach a new dog new tricks. And so I'm gonna go with Diego Lopes winning, split decision, borderline robbery. Yeah, I would like to see VOLK win, keep being champ, just to see him in these new matchups, like I said. But that's what I think is gonna happen. So I'm gonna go with Diego Lopes decision win for the final fight of the card and the new champ at featherweight. And yeah, that's what I got. Those are all my picks. If you think I am incorrect in a few picks, let me know in the comment section below as to who you think is, why they would win and who would win or whatever. And let's have some conversations. But anyways, thank you guys for watching. Like and subscribe. And goodbye.